All right, ladies and gents, welcome back to the Beards of War show. You got myself, Scorched Earth, and my brother over here, FBR. Unfortunately, Thick Nick caught that crazy bug that pretty much everybody in the world seems to be getting right now.
Oh
He's
shit.
fighting that off, but he's behind the scenes watching us, making sure we stay in line. But it's good to see you guys back here. And we're back with another Fallout episode. So, season 2, episode 3, interesting to say the least. I will say I wasn't as impressed as I thought it was going to be, but it's coming along. They're building the story arc, and yeah, man, it's interesting. Looking forward to getting into this. So, FBR, you mind kicking us off with some background on this one?
Yeah, man. So hey guys, I know we're probably about a week behind because episode 4 dropped yesterday. So I'm the only one that's actually watched it. So we're gonna do a little catch up. So on Tuesday, the channel's gonna cover episode 4, and then Thursday we'll cover episode 5 most likely. So that way we're all current. But hey, man. So episode 3 was very much I felt a world builder or story builder episode. That kind of complemented or bookends. Episodes 1 and 2. I have some guilty knowledge because I saw episode 4, and I would tell you that I think that the storyline's ramping up there. So it's kind of nice to see. But we're gonna break this down by character groupings to keep the kind of storylines going fluid. So let's talk about Lucy and the Ghoul. So end of episode 2, Lucy is escorting that young lady that was attacked by the scorpion. The Ghoul took a tail or got stabbed in the leg, so he's kind of down and out with the poison. And Lucy's trying to rescue this lady and get her back to her people. That episode ended with her kind of getting surrounded by some guards, and turns out that's the Legion. So it's like a Mad Max, like Roman Legion, like I don't know, support group for ex-basketball players or some goofy shit. But it was kind of funny, man.
Support
So
group.
like if you guys have seen the trailer, obviously Macaulay Culkin's in this season and he's in Roman armor, so you can assume that he's part of the Legion. So I was actually kind of excited to watch this episode, strictly because I think Macaulay Culkin's just awesome. I couldn't stand Home Alone when I was a kid, really, for the most part. I thought it was like an hour and a half of build up to get to 20 minutes of awesome. But man, I think Macaulay Culkin has grown on me over the years. So it was awesome. It was cool to see him in, even if this is just a cameo scene episode for him. It was cool they threw him in the mix. I don't think we have seen the end of him though, and I hope we haven't seen the end of the Legion. Because in this episode, Lucy, when she gets captured, she shows disrespect to the court, and the Legion's actually fractured in like two groups that are fighting over a single berm.
Yeah, separated by a berm
Yeah,
with the previous leader. So he essentially the previous leader who kind of ran the entire legion, the two little groups, little factions. He died. So he wrote on a note who was going to replace him. Put it in his pocket, and he's sitting at the top. His corpse is laying at the top of this berm, maybe 20, 30 feet from each little faction,
it's
and it's
crazy.
probably like 12 foot high. So they can almost see each other over the over the berm. And every time one goes up, they take shots at one another because they're trying to get the note to see who's really taking over. I
Yeah.
will say I'm going to take a little bit different of an angle with Macaulay Culkin. Yeah, I kind of liked Home Alone. I will say though, yeah, I wasn't. I mean, maybe it's because it's a cameo. Like his appearance in here, it was kind of lackluster for me. I didn't think he didn't fit that kind of Roman, gladiator type, executive to the leader of the group role
Mm.
very well to me. I didn't think he pulled it off. I wasn't really impressed with it, but he's looking good. He's looking better than he's looked for a long time. So I'm glad to see that. But I am looking forward to seeing him in more stuff. But those two groups are something else, and they were a mix, right, of
Yeah.
just like Roman, the Germans, like from way back in the day. Like they mixed everything all together. It's kind of like they took history of sorts of our history, and kind of sewed them all together to create this one group of legionnaires, right? Like the legion that seem to be fighting each other, and well, they fight. I guess they fight everybody else, or so they
Yeah.
say. But they're fighting each other right now over who's supposed to be the leader.
Yeah, it's just all kinds of goofy, especially by the yeah. We'll get to the end in a little bit of that piece of the storyline because it's funny as shit. So at this same point, so Lucy basically gets sentenced to death, and they crucify her via rope, so they don't nail her feet or anything like that. But they're basically gonna let her starve to death, kind of like Conan the Barbarian. And yeah, it takes a beating on her, man. And meanwhile, we go back to the ghoul, Cooper Howard, and this is one of the first times we've actually seen the ghoul kind of knocked down a notch. And between the poison and the gaping wound in his leg, he's kind of hurting, but slowly but surely he gets back up and he links up with the New California Republic, the remnants, right? So the quasi government that was running what is it, Shady Sands? I think the name was the city that they
Yeah.
detonated that Lucy's dad blew up the city. So they're the last of it, man, and they've been like kind of like cut off from their people for years because of the Legion. So these folks are just like some random cop out in the middle of fucking nowhere, and it just sucks to suck, man. And yeah, so the ghoul kind of like works a deal with them. He's like, hey, like, I need to get in there and rescue her because I need her for, to get to the dad. New California Republic needs one thing, and then the ghoul goes over and starts talking to Macaulay Culkin back at the Legion. And what you think is he's selling out the New California Republic, and I think he probably was, because I think Cooper Howard has been alive for so long and had to deal with so much violent shit that he's like, I'm gonna get to my means to my end, no matter what I've got to do. So if it's like I'll sell out these two schlubs here on the mountaintop here, or I'll destroy the Legion, it doesn't matter as long as he gets his end result. And yeah, so in an opportune moment, he gets Lucy out of the deal and ignites some well placed dynamite, and the Legion kicks off another round. It's so goofy, man. It's like a tent city in Bagram back in 2002.
Yeah.
Hashtag, if you guys have been there, you know, you know. Um, and they're just yeah, they're trading like catapult shots and shit like
Oh my
that.
gosh.
And they're literally like, yeah, they're a grenade toss away, man. It's crazy. But yeah, and then I think that pretty much wraps them up. He brings her back to the New California Republic, and they get her to work on some medication. So, and then we switch over to oh, who was it? Maximus, right? And the Brotherhood of Steel.
Ah, yes. Good old Maximus. So, the Brotherhood of Steel, I guess in the previous episode, you could kind of see Maximus starting to realize that the main character of the Brotherhood of Steel, the older guy who kind of runs it, he's the head one, at least for his faction,
Kratos or
is,
something like that.
yeah, I think it is Kratos. And he's always got a scheme up his sleeve, and he doesn't like it. He starts to see that he's corrupt. He's really not what he kind of proposed himself to be, or purported himself to be.
Hmm.
And he tried to essentially, if you guys recall from the previous one, he tried to get all these different Brotherhood of Steel factions, the West Coast faction, this faction, all together to kind of go back and fight against. Well, maybe not fight, but to steal these resources, right? The power cells and everything, and basically do what they did when they originally set up the Brotherhood of Steel, and that was kind of separate from the Commonwealth and create this Brotherhood. So he wants to get them together essentially to create his own power dynamic,
Yep.
and they would have their much larger, stronger with the power cells, with Area 51 tech and all this stuff, uh, better, stronger than the Commonwealth, and kind of run the entire wastelands, so to speak. They started to fracture in the meeting, especially when what's the one guy from the Commonwealth that came to visit, the one we were talking
So
about
I'm gonna
earlier?
I'm gonna brutalize his name, Camille Nanjiani.
Yeah,
So he plays Paladin Xander Harkness.
yeah, so he shows up right when they were having the meeting. That's in the previous episode. Started to see some fracture because they saw him, and now even more fracture develops. One gets up, leaves the table, and he sees it starting to fall apart. And our guy steps in and is like, "Hey, I could just go kill the guy because that's what we do here, right?"
He was just so matter
And
of fact about it. Like, you just want a
yeah,
coffee, you know?
yeah, I think he was at that moment where he was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna say what's on my mind." And the guy's like, "I don't have need of the word from a sword. Get out of here. Get out of my sight." And he didn't leave. Challenged him again. He was like, "All right, I'm out of here." And it almost looked like at that moment when he stormed out, he was gone. Like he was going to get his suit and take off. And then he got stopped by Xander. They started talking, and he's like, "Hey, look, those guys are wrong, man. You want to be? It's us soldiers. We're the ones that bleed for it. We know how it really should run, and that's not how it's run in the Commonwealth. It's us that run it. It's not, this brotherhood." So they start linking up together and talking, and it starts moving on from there. But yeah, it's interesting to see that starting to fracture. I think I saw that fracture coming in the previous episode, It was kind of out in the open, blatant.
Yeah, I think Thaddeus goes along because he's struggling to formulate a plan, and actually think that Xander showed him everything that he was hoping for. He's like,
Yeah,
oh shit, like he was getting manipulated, man. So that's the interesting thing about Thaddeus, or not Thaddeus, I'm sorry, Maximus. So
Maximus.
we'll get to
Yeah,
Thaddeus in a second. So
Maximus.
Maximus, the interesting aspect about that is like I think he really wants to be a good person, but yet the power that he gets from the Brotherhood of Steel, it's just easier to go along, so he can still do that. But I think it's just starting to change him, and I wonder if he's actually like a master like plotter, like he's going to overthrow and he's got this good plan on how to do it, or if he's just like, is he really just like, oh, woe is me for like the rest of forever?
I think well. I think he's personally. Well, real quick, shout out to who's that Carmen Cato. Hey, thanks for joining us. What's up? Oh yeah, hey, let's
What's up,
go,
man?
Eric. Yep, good to see you guys. So I think he has both of those. Like one side is he's easily manipulated, and then he realizes I'm being manipulated. He gets upset, and he has a plan that he just like you said, he hasn't figured out how he's going to develop it. I know there's that connection with Lucy. He wants that back, and I think he
Yeah,
genuinely wants things to be good. He just wants to be in a comfortable place, but he also wants everything to kind of be settled. And he's seeing all the people that he's hoping can help everything get to that point. They're corrupt, or they disappear or whatever, and his world's not melded together. It's just kind of loosely hanging on. So whenever somebody jumps in and is like, yeah, you know what, I got this carrot, and they use that, and they're able to manipulate at least a part of him. He still has that plan, though. I think you're right, in the back of his mind. I don't even
yeah.
know what it is.
So, and before we move on, we got to do a quick. So, at the beginning of the episode, there was a Keith. We see a new character we haven't seen since season one. So Thaddeus is back, and he's running like a bottle cap sweatshop with
Yeah, that
ghoul kids.
sweatshop.
It's all like it's just kind of a fucked up
Dude.
scene, man. It is. But like some of the kids don't have like noses and stuff, man. They're all kinds of jacked up. So everyone's been pretty much exposed. So, bottle caps being the currency of that universe. I guess, man. So what ends up happening is when Maximus and Xander go off on their like private like getaway fly around hunt kind of mission that they're going on, and in power suits, and they land at this bottle cap factory, and that's where Thaddeus and the kids are. And at this point, Maximus has got to decide which way his moral compass is going to go. And when Xander, basically alludes that he's going to kill them all because they're not real people, or they're not, human beings or anything. Um,
Yeah,
you know,
you guys are all abominations, is what he said. He
yeah,
was like, they're just kids. And he
Maximus
was
did
like,
what he did. So
yeah, they're not kids. They're abominations.
yeah,
I will. I did wanted to plug this. So I noticed because the episode really it starts off with the sweatshop, right? When it
yeah,
when it comes up, it starts off Thaddeus. He's running a sweatshop, and he's like, "Hey guys, you've been working 10 hours. Let's keep it up. We only got like 12 more to go." And literally, he's got like 8 to 12 year olds, working this sweatshop line of bottles coming in and popping off the caps because that's the currency of the Fallout universe. The wasteland. But I noticed throughout this a couple different themes throughout this episode. There was a lot of Roman stuff. There was a whole lot of German, connotation. And just like every great movie or TV show, you got to have sailors, right? So I noticed one of the kids was wearing a pair of dress white Cracker Jacks with, I didn't catch the rate, but you got to have a sailor in there. And then I saw, what else was there? There were a couple sailor things throughout, poster up on the wall, like one of the ones, the old pinups that we have from back in, what was that?
World War
The
II.
40s era. Yeah, so there was a lot of Navy references, even with the ghoul, right? Talking about a plank of wood and a ship and a boat and what. I mean, maybe that's just a sailor in me, but you can't have a good movie or good TV show without some reference to a sailor. They're always starting fights. They're
Yeah,
always
you
in
can.
bars. They're
Stripes.
always walking around.
Stripes is a
They're
fantastic film.
Yeah, I guarantee you, there's a sailor in there though.
No, there's not.
I'm gonna find it. Yeah, weren't they in a bar? There was a sailor in there, and a fight broke out
You're reaching, man.
in Stripes. When they went to the bar in the mud
Nope, that
and
was
all
John
that.
Candy, legend, rest in peace.
Yeah, yeah, in the background. Like there are always sailors in the background. You just check movies. Watch. I'm willing to put. No, I'm not going to put no money on
We're
it.
going
But
off the
I will
rails.
say, it was interesting to see these themes kind of come. And if you go back to the Brotherhood of Steel when they're having that meeting, you look in the background behind them. They had the old, like Roman era. They had the chairs. So there's I don't know what they're doing with this. Maybe they're just having some fun. But they had Roman era chairs in there. So there's a lot of Roman, a lot of Navy, a lot of German. I just thought it was interesting. But the sweatshop that killed me. I'm like, this guy. They had to have him running a sweatshop.
So yeah, so now to get us back on track,
I had to do it, man. I had
had
to
to
do
get the
it.
Navy in there somehow, didn't you?
I didn't
Uh,
put him in there.
So to get back on track, so Maximus knows that he's pretty much initiated a civil war amongst the Brotherhood of Steel, and it's honestly the loose union that the four folks had with Kratos, right? Or I forget the dude's name, the head of Maximus's
Brotherhood of Steel.
organization of the Brotherhood of Steel. It's already kind of fractured, anyways. They don't, none of them trust each other, and they're all after power, right? They want
Yeah.
fusion cores. A couple of things though to mention, and Chris, correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry, Scorchers, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Norm and the executives that got defrosted from Vault 31,
Oh.
they make it out in this episode, if I remember correctly, and Norm kind of has to tell some lies and gets called out.
No, they made it out in the last episode.
Okay.
Yeah, because he did he had all of them out and he couldn't figure out how to get out. He was like, "All right, hey guys, here's the deal. First one that gets out and finds a way to for us to get out gets one of these special pins." And he had a pack of circular band-aids. So they're like, "Oh, they'd never seen them." They're like, "Yep, that's cool. I got to get one of those." And somebody finds a hatch. She like breaks her nose or whatever. They get
Yeah,
out. They
yeah.
make it to the surface and they get out, but they don't go any further than that. They get like part of the way up a dune and they kind of see that it's kind of desolate and that
Well,
was it.
damn. Okay. Well, I'm gonna stop talking about them. Honestly, like I'm interested to see where that goes. Like the vault folks, I find are quite boring this season so far. Like they're not giving them a whole lot
Yeah.
to do. I think they're gonna go somewhere with it. I think they're very talented writers in the show. I think so. I'm giving credit or grace for lack of a better term. But the ending of the episode caps off with a flashback, and we see Cooper Howard have an engagement. He's at the VFW. One of his Marine Corps buddies is getting recognized, and then we have a chance encounter with Mr. House in the bathroom with our
Yeah.
main man, the Ghoul. And it's interesting to start seeing that that Joker versus Batman moment in development phase because it's definitely going down that road. And I think once Cooper Howard in the past makes that connection with Robert House and correlation with
Hmm.
Vaultec, now in the current timeline, Mr. House is fucking he's gonna buy it. Maybe.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He is a big
Yeah,
villain though. I
I
know
think
he's in the
so.
game.
Yeah. I think so. And slightly off the rail. I'm not gonna what was that? All right, who's that? Archibald. Yeah, Overseer One Eye needs to get got. You know what? I agree. What he's always messing up Lucy's name. What was he always calling her?
No, One Eye Overseer One Eye is the female that lost her eye in the firefight invasion
Oh,
in season
the
one.
that
The
one.
blonde. I can't
Yeah,
remember what her
yeah,
name is.
yeah. Never
But
mind.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. She's a yeah, interesting cat. But she was from 31
she was
originally
from
too.
33, but she's one of Bud's buds, right? She's one of the HR execs.
No, because I thought Lucy's was from 33.
They all were, right? But
No,
when,
so no, but if you go back,
sorry,
she's one of the
yes,
originals from 31. The vault where everybody was in
yes,
cryo
she's
freeze.
a defrosted HR exec,
Yeah, yeah,
specifically her. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
that's what I'm
yeah.
tracking.
So
I think all the overseer or all of the
all
Bud's
the
buds
overseers get put
are
into it.
overseers.
Yep.
Yeah.
So a one kind of rail moment. I promise I'll stay just close to the rail. In that scene when they're in the bathroom, when he's in the bathroom, he's talking to the guy and he's
Yeah,
calling him
yeah.
about
Sorry, Robert
Dinko.
House. Yep.
Yeah. On the wall is that pinup picture on the wall. That was in that scene. I couldn't. You brought it up and I was like, oh, that was the scene. I couldn't remember where in it.
Well, at
It
least
was
that makes
there.
sense because it's in a VFW. So
Yeah. Well, and that what was it? The one lady, was she a congressman or whatever, standing up at the podium.
yeah, she
She's
looks
like, I'm the
absolutely sad
only
to be
one.
there.
Oh my gosh. It's like she's never been in front of anybody. She's like, I'm the only one that's never taken any money. And so I'm here to give a prize to. Oh, hold on. Where are my notes?
Here's a lighter. Thanks. Thanks. Thanks for all
Gosh.
you've done.
But yeah, I mean, so the episode, in my opinion, it wasn't bad. It was a good episode. It's kind of building the case.
Yeah.
It sounds like four is going to kick off some good stuff. I haven't seen it, so
Yeah, I'm
this
gonna
is
watch it
one of those
again.
times where I would say, yeah, don't ruin it for me. I'm
I
usually
won't.
cool with people spoiling it, but I'm looking forward to that one because that one starts off. I saw the first 10 seconds or so. That one starts off good, and I didn't even get to any action, so I'm looking forward to that one.
I'm really interested to see where like the past timeline kind of goes. I mean, so Robert House, in from what I know of Fallout 3 New Vegas, his mind has been put into like a mega computer and it oversees all the security parameters of New Vegas and all that stuff. I'm interested to see is if when Lucy's dad, if he manages to make that an option, if they can pull his consciousness out through the chip into an actual body, so you have a real villain to like kind of duke it out with the ghoul again.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be as exciting to watch Walton Goggins just walk up and like, unplug the server and be like, "Bye, bitch."
Or maybe who knows if they because they've been doing a pretty good job from my understanding of sticking to the canon. But if they diverge a little bit from the canon of the game, they could do what they already had in the previous episode being he might be in a cryo freeze somewhere and he gets him out.
True. So, and here's where it gets weird. So, like I said, I haven't played the games.
Yeah.
I've read up on New Vegas for this season of television, but my understanding is that the creators of that game specifically never decided on which ending was canon, and this show is
Ah,
going to
gotcha.
force an
Dictate
ending
what that's
decision.
going to be.
Right. So that being said, the show is still the furthest in the Fallout universe, right? So the furthest down the road. So um this show does impact the games, and then they've also said that obviously the game creators are working closely with the show writers to make sure everything jives and they honor the canon. So
Okay, so that makes
I
sense.
respect that, man. That's some awesome
Yeah.
heavy lifting to do that, and it shines. Your product is amazing. I look forward to it every week.
Yeah, and I think that's going to reflect really well in the game if that's true. You know what I mean? In the next
Yeah,
iteration
because I
of the
think they're
game.
doing Fallout 5. So the events they've already came out and said that the events of this season will have an impact in Fallout 5. So
That'd be
that's really
awesome.
fucking cool, man.
I think that's a great way to tie them together because I think it's pretty genius because it makes it easier. I think as long as you continue to write well, to keep this series like rolling for quite some time. You can definitely get
Yeah.
a lot of episodes out of it, especially if you're coming out with a new game. It makes it a lot easier to build that content, especially when they're together, right? So it makes me want to play the game again, even though that game it's a beast, man. You got to put in the man hours to play that game.
Yeah.
No joke. No
Well,
joke, but
one day, right?
yeah,
They're sitting on my shelf collecting dust right now. I bought all the Fallout games I could find after watching season one, like what, a year ago, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get around to doing this one day.
well, the perfect time to do it is when you go into your vault, right? When you go into your bunker,
Right?
perfect. It fits right in.
See.
All right, well, that kind of wraps it up from my perspective. We left you guys, an Easter egg or two, especially
Yeah.
with Xander. That was a good one. I like that touch with Xander, but yeah, we look forward to episode 4, covering that with you guys. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe if you're not already. And look at that, a comment. I say it, and it shall be. The show definitely makes me want to play. Archibald, I agree. Yep, all about it, man. I mean, I played the first one, for a few hours here and there. And yeah, I mean, I liked the game, but it was so much. And oh my gosh, the texts are just blowing up. The comments are blowing up. It's good to see you guys out there. I didn't get to read them all. So forgive me if I didn't get to whatever it is that just popped up on my screen. It blew by really quick.
Thanks,
All
everybody.
right.
We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we like the support. Keep
Yeah.
coming out. Recommend to your friends. Like, subscribe, notification bell. And we look forward to seeing you next week. I don't have anything. How about you?
The only thing I gotta say is I watched the Avengers Doomsday, I guess, part 3 trailer that
Hmm.
came out. I got chills seeing Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen back as Professor X and Magneto, man. It looks very somber, so I'm kind of down to see that. Patrick Stewart says it's gonna be his last role. And you cut to that, and there's this absolutely crazy fucking shot of James Marsden is Cyclops taking his visor off, and he does like a rage flame blast out of his eyes, and it looks fucking killer, man. So that's probably the most jazzed I've been for a Marvel, trailer since Deadpool Wolverine. So man, good luck, Russo brothers. I hope your film is amazing.
Yeah, awesome. Fingers crossed.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we're out of here. It was good seeing you. Scorched. Peace.
Bad Brother Rambo out of here, guys. Be good.